Ann LeClair. Welcome to As Fresh as It Gets, the show where you meet our growers, our fishermen, the people who produce our food. And of course, we always have some interesting guests, including today's guest, Virginia Bolshakova, who is the director of the University of California Cooperative Extension, Elkus Ranch. And as you'll discover as we go on with the interview, she's really into bugs and kids, not necessarily in that order. So let's start, Virginia. What about Elkus Ranch? You see Elkus Ranch, what is it exactly?
That's a great question, Ann. And thank you for having me on the show today. I appreciate that. So Elkus Ranch is one of our programs under our whole UC Cooperative Extension umbrella. And so what is UC Cooperative Extension? What are we? Well, we're a division under the University of California. We're a network of researchers and educators that are dedicated to creation, development, and application of knowledge in the areas of agriculture, natural and human resources. So Elkus Ranch is one of those unique shining stars among our programs that starts back in 1975 when Richard J. Alkis donated the ranch to the Cooperative Extension. The ranch is it was once 630 acres. Back in 2009, we had to sell off some of the land to support the programs, and it's now 126 acres of this beautiful landscape that goes from, a creek to hilltops, 360-degree views of the ocean, and we see nearly 10,000 children every year to teach about environmental education out there at the space.
Wow. So you're the director of all of this. Sounds like you work in paradise. What is your role exactly? What do you do?
That's a good question. So what do I do exactly? As a director, I have some administrative oversight. We actually have 3 offices for our cooperative extension, including Elkus Ranch, across the county. We have just over 30 staff, as well as 6 academic advisors that have research programs. So I help to allocate resources, get resources, manage the staff, but I also have my own programmatic area. And my research interest and background is in insect ecology and science education. So my research program and education programs follow those lines.
Now, how did you develop an interest in insects? I mean, some of us have collected bugs as a child, but we usually run the other way from them as we get older, so.
Yeah, a lot of kids actually at some point in their life have some innate curiosity towards these 6-legged or 8-legged, if you're into arachnids, creatures. And, when I was a kid, I grew up on a farm in Michigan, and I remember one year we had this major outbreak of Japanese beetle in our soybean fields. And it was just an incredible sight to see how much destruction the beetle could have on the plant. And so it piqued my curiosity to try to understand what happens, how do these populations grow? Something so small can do something so big. But also there's just that love of the diversity of insects, the most diverse group of animals in the world. There's, estimated 10 million or more insect species in the world, so many left to discover. So it's still this on the edge of discovery constantly. So I think it's a fascinating field to work in.
Do you consider them more helpers, or do you think of them as harmful?
That's a good question too, Ann. A lot of people will recoil quickly when they see insects. Truthfully, most insects, may be neutral as far as we consider them, but there certainly are some when it comes to our food and other human interests. They can be harmful, but there's a lot of beneficials out there that do help us. A lot of spotlight has been on our pollinators recently, especially with honeybees and other native bees. So it goes both ways.
We've talked about your bug love. Let's talk a little bit about your love for children. Specifically, what do kids learn on the ranch, and how long are the programs? How do you find these children?
So we have a diverse array of programs. Kids anywhere from 3 years old up to high school, even some college students visit the ranch, doing different things. So we have exploration day discovery camp out at the ranch. That's a 6-hour program going all summer long. Every other week, the kids get to come out and experience the life on a working ranch, explore the natural wonders that are out there with our forest, the creek, just really getting to do crafts and those sorts of things. As they get older, we have other more focused camps. We have a range camp for high school students that actually recruits from all over California. They'll be having their camp here in a few weeks. Scientists from the university, as well as other organizations across California, come to support that camp. And the high schoolers will learn about forage management, they'll learn about insect ecology, they'll learn about forestry, water, soil, all of those things. And then I would say our bread and butter during the school year, we have ranch tours, which is a 3-hour program that brings classrooms, likely 3 classrooms from a school, about 100 kids a day, out to the space to frolic through the gardens, learn about where their food comes from, fiber, all of those things in our barns with our animals, and it's time for them to enjoy lunch there too.
So Virginia, for the classroom visits, I would assume the teachers contact you if they're interested. Is that right? They could contact you through the website?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, we have our Alkis Ranch education coordinator, Leslie Jensen. She organizes all of those visits, and yes, we would be glad. We fill up really quickly, especially for the educational programs during the school year, so the sooner people contact, the better.
And for the summer programs, if someone has a child or a teenager interested, how does that work? Is the person able to just sign up as an individual online to come out?
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect.
So actually, right now we're taking enrollment for those summer day camps that happen all through August. So, yep, just go to the website and they'll be able to find where to register.
So, Virginia, your office currently is in Half Moon Bay, is that right? Well, we're going to take a look at a farm from Half Moon Bay. We're going to visit with Tony Cozzolino at Cozzolino Farms. So let's take a look. We're here with Tony Cozzolino at Cozzolino Farms, and you have an amazing property. It's very large, I noticed as we drove in. What can you tell us about it? How many acres do you have here?
Yeah, we got, it's about 50 acres in total, and then it's kind of surrounded by like the canyons and stuff like that. So it's a nice real private area for farming.
Okay. And you're not the first generation to farm in your family, right?
No, not the first, actually 4th generation. So my great-grandfather started when he came over from Italy, and yeah, like I said, 4th generation farmer here.
So your actual farm, you have more Cozzolinos who have farms throughout the area, I believe, but on this farm, what are you growing? Looks like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything here. We have kind of started doing more seasonal things. We do a lot of herbs this time of year, certain times of the year and stuff. Herbs and tomatoes, we grow about 30 varieties of tomatoes, bell peppers and hot peppers and such. We do pumpkins, Christmas trees, cut flowers, sprouts, and chicken eggs is pretty much.
That's it?
That's it, yeah, exactly.
So I know with your pumpkin business, you often sell directly to hotels and restaurants, right?
Yeah, we've done actually quite a bit of work with different hotels, big hotels, other states too as well. And we sell directly to them. We do setups ourselves, or they purchase it and then they'll set it up themselves. So.
And you deliver those big pumpkins, right? They're not light.
Yeah, they're not light. They, they get up to 500-600 pounds what we can grow here on the coast. And we also do about 20 to 25 different varieties of pumpkins as well.
Now, we've been talking to a lot of growers on the coast side, farmers and ranchers, about the effects of the drought. How is that affecting you on your property? What are you doing for water?
It's affected us quite a bit. We definitely have to watch, our water usage last year was very bleak with the water. This year doesn't seem to be too much better. So we just try to definitely conserve all the water we can, water in the evenings. That way the water actually soaks in the ground longer and stuff like that. But it's gonna definitely be a challenge this year with the lack of water.
Now, I know you mentioned the cut flower business, and I've seen your mom certainly at the farmer's market selling flowers. What kinds of flowers? How many varieties do you know?
Like I said, again, it's all seasonal and such. Early in the spring, it's a lot of the bulb stuff. Middle of summer, you got your sunflower and lilies and such like that. In the fall, again, it goes to pom-poms and, again, carry a lot of sunflower as well.
And you have a sprout business, right?
We do.
It's growing, no pun intended.
Yeah, we do sprouts. My wife and I started that business just last year, but we do sprouts, bean sprouts and green sprouts, and chicken eggs as well.
Why did you get into the sprout business?
It's just something a little bit different. You know, there's a lot of people trying to kind of cut back on their beef consumption or just more health conscious. It's a really good, has a lot of protein and fiber in it. So it's kind of a good alternative for people that are vegans and stuff like that as well.
Now, you're a fourth generation farmer. What challenges do you find, or is there just such a passion in your family? Did you always know you wanted to be in farming, or?
Not really. You know, I went to college and got my degree in biology and actually didn't plan on doing much farming. And then it just came about where I was kind of still doing farming while I was in college, and as soon as I graduated, it just seems like I just jumped right into that and haven't looked back since. So.
And what's an average work week like for you? How many days a week do you work?
It's 7 days a week, pretty much year round. Our days off are when we go to the farmer's market.
That's tough. And I'm assuming you start practically at dawn, or 5. What time do you get up in the morning? 5 o'clock?
Right around 5, yeah. 5 o'clock every day, and pretty much work pretty close till dark every day. So it's long days, but you know, you get to see the outcome of it, which is kind of cool.
Now, are you a cook as well? I know a lot of farmers love to cook just because they know, huh?
No, not much of a cook. I can do some barbecuing, and we use quite a bit of the herbs and stuff, but my wife does most of the cooking. She uses all the herbs and everything we grow here, and so it turns out to be a pretty nice meal.
So, Tony, tell us what we're looking at right now, please.
So right here we got our fields of, we got some of our sunflower here, our English shelling peas, we have some asparagus planted right over here as well, as long as with some lilies too.
Great. And how tall would these get?
These here will get a good 7 feet tall probably.
Nice.
By the time we come to pick them.
So I know we talked about what you grow, we've looked in your greenhouse. Where can people find your products? I know so many people want to buy fresh, want to buy local. I know you sell up at College of San Mateo. I make a point of buying from you there. Where else do you sell?
Yeah, we do College of San Mateo, that's on Saturdays. Also on Sundays we do Menlo Park, which is a real fun market to come to. Our products are also found in Belmont on Sundays, and on Thursdays we do San Carlos Farmers Market there.
Well, that should keep you busy. Do you do any of those markets yourself?
Yeah, I do 3 of those markets. So along with that, we also could be found on our website that we have. It's CozzolinoPumpkins.com.
Great.
And there you'll be able to get all of our contact information.
Wonderful. So if a restaurant or hotel wants to, or any business wants to buy decorative pumpkins for you, or pumpkins, they can just go on the website or give you a call through that?
Absolutely. Just come onto our website. All our information's there, and you can get a hold of us that way.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back. Happy to have you here, Virginia. We've talked a little bit about the programs you operate. Overall, what would you say your goal is at Elkus Ranch?
So the goal at Alkis Ranch, and I think some of our other programs, because, you know, we have a Master Food Preserver program, the Master Gardener, the 4-H Youth Development, we have integrated pest management support, urban forestry, a lot of programs. I think overall, our goal is to not just with the children, but also our community at large, is how we can use the tool of science in our everyday lives. And, you know, there's a lot of information that's constantly being thrown at us, and how to navigate that information is a really critical skill to have. And so I think it boils down to that basic scientific literacy and how to weigh the information that you're given. And so with the children at the ranch, you know, it depends on what age you come to us. I think there's, you know, you start maybe just with that curiosity that we want to encourage and nurture at that space. And that may grow into something greater. You know, we have I ran into a graduate student at Stanford who is now studying ants, who came up to me and said, you know, when I was a kid growing up in Belmont, I went out to Elkus Ranch. And so, you know, it can run the gamut of just trying to encourage that preservation stewardship spirit, but actually moving in and studying, researching, becoming somebody who can create a knowledge, or someone who becomes a knowledge creator, developing tools on how to best manage spaces that our humans are working and living in.
Now, you, not too long ago, had some of your students out at the San Mateo County Fair, is that right?
Yes.
Will you tell us about that?
Would be glad to. So we just finished up a 8-week series across San Mateo County in 5 different schools. We recruited teenagers through our 4-H program to come out to the ranch, spend an intensive weekend of training in horticulture, leadership, and working with children, where they would take those skills with support from our volunteers and staff out to the local school gardens and teach children in the elementary schools how to grow their food, and focusing on nutrition and physical fitness in the garden space. And so we just celebrated that event out at the fair. It was great being there. You know, our master gardeners, our master food preservers, and our 4-H program, which a lot of people typically think of 4-H, all of the livestock and other exhibits the kids share were there to see. So it was a great event having everybody in one space. You know, our volunteer cohorts that make the community programs run are just phenomenal. So it was a good time.
Good. Will you tell us a little bit more about your Master Food Preserver program?
Yes. So the Master Food Preserver program is, you know, it's sort of an example of one of those things that were old that's now becoming hip again, right? And so the Master Food Preserver program is now across the state of California in 16 different counties, including San Mateo and San Francisco. It just started last year, and I have to give a shout out to Kathy Baxter, who is also one of our science educators out at the ranch, who has such a passion for food and recognizing the important links with kids, families, and food preservation. And so the mission of the Master Food Preserver program is really to partner with the community on how to teach research-based practices that will preserve food in a safe and hopefully delicious way.
Now, Virginia, you were talking about kids and families. We made a recent visit to Webb Ranch, and they're all about kids and families, and they're all about berry picking and any number of other things. So let's take a look at that visit. We're here at Webb Ranch in Portola Valley, California. You've seen some farms on the Pacific coast side. We're going to show you some interesting places today that are not on the coast side, a little more inland. We're here today with Deano Lovecchio, who is the manager here at Webb Ranch.
Hello.
And his dog Willow is with us as well. She'll be in and out of the shot, I'm sure. So Deano, how long have you been here at Webb Ranch?
I've been here for 5 years now. Webb Ranch has been here since 1922. All family owned and operated since then. George Webb was the original Webb. We're now down to would be his great-granddaughter, married to Tom Hubbard. Tom Hubbard actually runs the whole ranch, and then I do the farming.
It's an enormous farm, ranch. We drove through it today. How many acres do you have?
We're just under 300 acres total. About 110 acres is farmland. About 130 acres would be horse area, and then the rest would be roads and housing. All our employees live on site, and most of the family lives right here on the ranch.
Okay. And what do you grow? I know we're in berry territory. We'll get to that in a minute, but aside from berries?
So we also grow corn, super sweet bicolor corn, all certified organic since 2008. We grow, this year we have 14 varieties of tomatoes, including cherry tomatoes. Squash, green beans, sugar snap peas, and lots of pumpkins.
Wow. Now, I know at one time you had a roadside stand, but now where can people find your products if they want to buy fresh and local?
We sell most of our stuff locally to Bianchini's markets. There's one here in Portola Valley and another one in San Carlos. We also sell to Milk Pail Market in Mountain View. And then we also go to a couple farmers markets, the main one being here in Portola Valley, Thursday nights.
Thursday nights. So on the corn front, my recollection from when I was buying it at the roadside stand was that you pick it very often.
Yes.
How does that work?
So for Bianchini's, we still do that. We actually deliver corn to him 3 times a day. Once the corn starts, we just, at 7 a.m. is the first one, noon's the next one, and then right at 4 o'clock as we finish the day.
And what kind of a harvest would you have in a normal year of corn? How many ears? I think that would probably make it.
The number of ears is close to 250,000 ears of corn in a year.
That's incredible.
Which really isn't that much when it's corn like that. Think of how many people live in the Bay Area.
Okay. And now tell us about the berries. You're growing different types, it seems.
Yes, we do have several varieties of berries. The one we have here is called an olali berry. This is a blended berry. It's mostly blackberry, but it's part raspberry, a little bit of dewberry in there. Has a very unique flavor, very popular with the people that come out and pick.
Is that unique to our region? I don't think you normally see that back east, do you?
It is unique to the West Coast.
Right.
This is a berry created 1949, I believe, in University of Oregon, and just migrated down to California. It grew better in California than it did in Oregon. So we've chosen that berry and have grown it for some time now.
And it's one of the earliest, isn't it?
One of the
it seems
earliest,
to be.
yes.
Okay. So
It's one of the earliest berries, but it's also one of the least popular to put in a store. Shelf life is not that great on an olali berry.
I see.
So most farms are leaning now towards the 2-week shelf life type thing.
And from June on, normally, people are able to come out and pick berries, is that
Yes.
right? So tell us about that.
So this year our U-Pick starts June 10th. It's open Wednesdays and Saturdays to the public. And you could come out, we supply the boxes. All you have to do is bring yourself and kids and be ready to have a good time. And we have olali berry ready now, and this will be what you start picking in June. There will also be some boysenberry, which is behind us with the flowers on them. And then we have 6 varieties of blackberry.
Wow. And some, you said, are thornless.
There are varieties that are thornless. We have 2 kinds. One is the Navajo, and the other one, I believe, is the Arapaho.
Nice.
That are both thornless.
Nice. And so what kind of a crop do you get? I mean, you mentioned you get hundreds of people at a time picking these berries, right?
We do. We average around 500 to 700 people a day that we're open for the U-Pick. And they just come in and they kind of clean them off, and you're left with red ones, and they ripen by the next day we're open. I couldn't tell you pound-wise how many, because we do encourage eating them while you're out.
I was just going to ask you how
we
many
don't
go
weigh
down
the kids on the way in and out.
That might be a good method. So let's talk to Jonathan a little bit. Jonathan, you want to come over and join us? Jonathan Frechette, who is the ranch manager here. Tell us a little bit about what you do here. Obviously, you're growing all kinds of crops, but on the horse side, what's that all about?
Well, I help Deano out a little bit, but he's definitely the maestro around here. I generally help with the horse side a little more, do a little maintenance, restoration, old barns. We have a lot of old paddocks that need a lot of upkeep, so that's kind of what I do around here.
And is there a program for disabled children? I thought I read something about that.
Yeah, we have a program called Jasper Ridge Farms. They come in and they help kids, like you said, with issues, any kind of with therapy, basically. Mm-hmm. And they're actually going to build up a new facility in here.
Nice. So one thing, coming back to you for a minute, Deano, sure. I'm noticing you have a little bit of a drip system going on. You're doing some innovative things because of the drought, right?
Correct.
What are those?
So we're on a lake water system. We do not use city water or drinking water, but a drought is a drought and water is water. We've taken all our berries this year and put mulch around the bottom of them, which is the straw you see. That helps contain the water into the soil. As the sunlight hits it, it keeps it from evaporating as quickly. And then all of our crops are completely on drip irrigation. We don't use sprinklers for anything. It's just to help conserve as much water as we can so that we can provide food for people to eat. Nice. All the families that live out here, Jonathan included, we do not water our grasses this year. No one waters their lawn. You'll see a lot of dead yards as you go through the ranch. They'll come back eventually when we have water and we're told, go ahead, you can use this for your lawn again. But until then, we're just gonna do what we can to keep it for the food and the horses.
So that was just exactly what I was gonna ask Jonathan about. So what about the drought and the effect on the horse side?
Well, we do try to minimize the amount of water we use in the horse side. We're cutting out a lot of the hoses that people use to wash their horses. We're trying to go to buckets now, make people fill up that way. It definitely helps to conserve water that way. The horses all have a float system where it triggers them to get water if their water level drops too low in their tub, so we're not constantly, watering them.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much. We hope everyone comes out and either rides or certainly picks the berries and enjoys them and buys them at the local store. So
Well,
thank you
for
both very
coming.
much. Pretty impressive place, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say? Great
great.
team there.
Amazing.
Absolutely great for kids and families. So you've talked about the kitchen business, you've talked about the ag. Since you are a scientific organization, you get a certain amount of money from UC, correct? And then you rely on donations for the rest.
Well, so it's actually, I would say it's kind of there's a holistic source of funds that vary to different degrees. We do get some from UC. We also get some from the county. This was the UC Cooperative Extension was established actually 100 years ago. We just celebrated our centennial last year. And it's an agreement between the county and the state, as well as the local community. And the local community buy-in that we have from donors are sometimes makes the biggest difference in helping our success to deliver our programs, to sustain the spaces that we work in, like Alkis Ranch.
You would think with all the companies today so interested in children getting a basis in science, really developing an interest in it, do you find many companies donate and help support the program because of that, or is it mainly individuals?
There's mainly individual foundations. I think that that's just something we haven't been able to maybe crack yet. So hopefully in time we'll be able to maybe get some of those companies here in the Silicon Valley out to our conference center. We have a beautiful conference venue that is for rent, and our goal is to really make that place sustainable with providing a beautiful rental space facility in a beautiful environment, but also that supports and feeds our programs that are teaching children and others throughout the counties.
Now, I know we only have time for about one more question, but I believe you're moving your office, you're redoing the space. Can you tell us just very briefly about that?
Okay, I'll be really brief. I'll have to come on another time to talk more about that. But we're very excited. We know that the rental cost in San Mateo is very expensive, so we would like to make our 3 offices into 2. And so having an urban space that we have in San Bruno and then moving our Half Moon Bay office out to Elkus Ranch. With that, we're going through a major strategic planning at the ranch. As any organization, you always need to reflect on what you're doing and think about how you are adjusting your programs to the modern day needs. And so with that, we're looking at office space, some updates to our conference venue, as well as some needed repairs to things that just have been delayed due to financial challenges out there. So we're really excited to do that, bring research out to the educational facility as well.
Well, Virginia, thank you so much. Your passion is obvious for what you do, and they are very fortunate to have you, and we're very fortunate to have you with us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. I appreciate being here. Thank you.